Guys, let me know if you can hear me. We're not starting yet. Yesterday we had an audio issue. I want to make sure we're not going to have any audio issues today. Let's get everything set up correctly here. There it is. Okay. All right, so we'll get started in just about 60 seconds. Go ahead right now's the time. Put some comments in the chat if you want to talk about anything. I'll set up this screen share as well. Okay. Nope. There we go. Now we're all set. All right, guys, we're going to get started in 30 seconds. Okay, welcome to VIP Story Trading, VIP Pre-Market Prep. Hopefully this time you can hear me right from the start of the show. It's Thursday, May 30th. Yesterday was an incredible day of predictions for us. We got to talk about this. Chewy, ANF, ASTS, DIX. All right. Those were the 4 stocks we gave you pre-market as trade ideas for the day. All right. We gave you 4 of them. And if you were in our VIP chat, the first thing we were focused on in the morning was Chewy. At the time in pre-market, it was up like 5 or 6%. We gave you a nice big fat target, which hit quickly in pre-market. You can see that pre-market move up there. I don't remember exactly the numbers, but we got that big move in pre-market. We continued to say, hey, this could be good for the day. But also, importantly, in pre-market, after we got that big move in Chewy, I said ANF is next. Let's move into ANF. And ANF in pre-market was like 150. Look at this. It was like 100. I picked it up at $153. Made a little bit of money on that. I tried to buy call options. I actually recommended. I said ANF calls is what I want to be doing today. Call options. Unfortunately, I missed it. I opened up a call contract, and the spread was huge. It was like a $3-4 spread. And I'm like, I'm not paying the ask on a $3-4 spread. And I didn't get it. Hopefully some of you guys executed better than me. This was crazy. $40 move. The call option I was looking at in the morning ended up being 8 times, up 8 times during the day. There were other call options that were up like 20 to 25 times on the day on ANF from the open. You didn't even have to risk buying before earnings on the day prior. So yesterday, 4 for 4. Hit all the targets. ANF, by the way, we mentioned that 24% beat. Oh my gosh. And it went right to 24%, right? We use that. Like, we look at the magnitude of the beat, we triangulate with technicals, then we give you a target. ASTS was another trade idea we gave you. We said huge short position, that big news with Verizon. I wasn't too focused on that, though. I did say I was in a little bit in and out, but mostly I was focused on Chewy and ANF. All right. Someone just texted me. Are you starting every morning at 9 a.m.? We're started. We're here. We're live. I don't know. That's someone from the app, the story trading app. But in any case, then Dix, I just didn't have time to focus on. But this was also not surprising because once you broke the 50 DMA, they beat, I think by about 5% was the beat. But that 5% beat was enough to gap over the 50 DMA. And then your next target's the all-time highs over there at mid 220s. So 4 for 4 on trade ideas yesterday on a day which was deeply red. Look at this. IWM down 1.5%. QQQ, SPY down 0.7%. Now, how did that translate for our model portfolio? So in the morning, we give you trade ideas for those of you who want to day trade. But we have a different process for those who are not as active traders, which is where most of my money is. Almost all of my money, 95% of my assets are in this portfolio. All right. We have this portfolio here. We have different buckets. There we go. All right. We got an AI bucket. We have allocation levels. In any case, we started tracking this closely on May 15th. And you can see the daily returns versus the SPY. We beat the SPY. Wow. 3 days in a row now, we're beating the SPY pretty significantly. And you can see the cumulative return on our weighted 1.8% versus point. That's a huge, when you're talking about 30 stocks, and if you're managing big money over just 10 days, to be able to beat the SPY by over 1% is really, really something. Obviously, we could have always done much better, but this is pretty good. I'm very happy with this. So let's just review this today, because yesterday, the error we had, the audio error, I'm going to do the full show on X, right? We're not going to stop the show on X. We're going to go right through the end of the show here on X. If you want to catch the show every morning, just go to storytrading.com/app, and you can make sure not to miss us 9 a.m. every morning for our VIP members. All right. So since we're doing a full show here for X, let's just walk through what we call our model portfolio. Hold on. Let me just make sure the people in our app can see this. I'm getting another message. Okay, it's good. All right, we're good. So here's our model portfolio. We have a bunch of buckets here. And we say we have an AI bucket, 25% weighting, growth bucket, 25% weighting, commodities, 50. It's not exactly all commodities. We got like Bitcoin in there, 15% weighting, GLP-1. That's huge. I'm expecting this to really help our portfolio this year, 15% weighting. Microcap stocks, we recently moved this up to 15% weighting, which really helped us, by the way. Because yesterday, ALAR, ALAR, part of our performances, ALAR was up like 12% or something. All right. We also have 3 times weighting in NVIDIA, and that's been helping us beat the market. So yesterday, we had no changes in the morning to our model portfolio. Again, today, no changes to our model portfolio. I don't like making a lot of rapid changes here in the model portfolio. We do it a couple times a week around earnings season. It might be more active. All right. But for right now, we're happy with this portfolio. It's crushing markets. I wish we had DELL in this AI bucket. That's a stock I've missed from the beginning. I didn't realize it was like an AI stock. Okay. So, by the way, if you're part of our community, I listen to ideas all the time. A lot of our stocks were ideas other people gave us. Bros was an idea someone gave us in our community. We're killing it on it. I think ASPN as well. Although I heard of that from Jonah Lupton, I was never really on top of it until someone mentioned it to me a little further, researched it, and that made it into our model portfolio. So for today, let's just review things. From a macro perspective, there's some economic data out this morning. GDP was in line, but it was in line with a lowered estimate. I think it was previously they were expecting 1.6. I don't know when they lowered it to 1.3, but it meant that lowered expectation of 1.3. So cooling economy. That's good in terms of interest rate expectations. Also, there was some other data, I think some preliminary PCE data or something that also came out that looked kind of light. Did I take a picture of that? Let me see. Where was it? Yeah, okay. PCE prices 3.3% versus 3.4 estimate. Core PCE 3.6 versus 3.7 estimate. And I think there's more inflation data coming out tomorrow morning. So in any case, our North Star for things like this is TLT. All right. We had a little warning the other day when we said short IWM for the day because TLT was breaking below key moving averages, and that worked out for a one-day trade to short IWM. So you can see what happened there with TLT. But now TLT is back up, 89.60. Where is that? It's about to almost fill in that gap there at around $90. So IWM, the most indice that's most sensitive to interest rates, doing the best this morning at 0.7%. So that could translate into some the stocks we're going to be talking about this morning that could overperform. All right. So we got a list of stocks here to think about. I want to talk about Hood, HIMS. We'll touch on DJT. But first, the higher conviction ones, I think, are going to be Palantir and Tesla today. All right. Let's look at these. Palantir out with news last night. It was about a $500 million contract or something. Let me see what the size of that contract was. Government AI contract, $480 million defense contract for AI system prototype. Very, very cool. Now, Palantir is not in our model portfolio because I think the valuation's too high. All right. But I got to admit, with these contracts they keep on getting, they're starting to grow into that valuation. You can see the forward PE 62 now, not as outlandish as it used to be. And if they keep getting these big contracts, a valuation here in the low 20s might start making sense. Price to sales ratio 20. But that's, I think, a good enough catalyst for Palantir to have a bid under it today. A lot of times the way I phrase things in the morning is, this is a good stock to buy the dips. What I mean by buy the dips, I'm like, if it's riding up that 21-minute moving average or whatever you're using a 5-minute moving average, it's riding up some kind of line, that support line, you could buy that dip to those support lines. That's what I mean when I say buy the dip. So I think Palantir is a candidate to buy the dip. And that's what I said on ANF yesterday as well. When we entered ANF, it was at all-time highs yesterday morning. And I said, what's the target on this? I'm like, I don't have a target because we're at all-time highs and it's highly shorted. And basically, I said, we're going to hold this until it breaks the trend line. That was the advice I gave. Did I follow my advice? Nope. I misplayed it. I took my profits early in the morning on the common shares and then tried to enter the call options. And I just never did. I told you because I didn't like the spreads, right? But it held the trend line. Depending on what trend line you're looking at, we didn't hold it the whole day. There was it's time in here. I think it was like 187 or 189. Forgot where it was, but I thought the RSI and the trend line was saying, all right, let's ring the register. Anyway, we didn't get the peak of it, but it ended up going up 24%, which was a number I had said is possible because of the beat. And I honestly was surprised it got there in one day, but that happens a lot. Any case, that's what I mean when I say it's a buy the dip opportunity. I'm like, this can hold the trend line throughout the day, whatever trend lines you're using for intraday trading. I think Palantir is one of those stocks that could do that today on this news. Okay. Another stock that could do that today is Tesla. Now, Tesla, the news is not huge, but everything's been running. And yesterday you had an open red candle. I think any excuse could kind of trigger a green day, an open green candle day for Tesla. So the news this morning was they're applying or they're registering for the FSD, full self-drive, in China. It's part of a process. They got to go through some regulatory things. So they're taking the next step to be able to sell FSD in China. Pair that with that open red candle yesterday. Consider the fact that this has really been underperforming. It's been kind of holding that 20 DMA. It went below, but now with that open red candle and the gap up above on this news, I think this could potentially move towards way up here would be the high target, the top of this candle, which is 186.88. That would be the high target for the day. You got some other resistance levels here around 181 or so. So this is something that I think could outperform today. That could have a bid underneath it, Palantir and Tesla. However, because of that macro data that just came in and the bid we're seeing in TLT, I want to draw some attention back to HIMS and Hood. Hood is in our model portfolio. Honestly, HIMS would be in our model portfolio. I'm in it. I'm trading it. I took it out of the model portfolio because of some controversy around the CEO, but I've been trading it since, and we've been trading it perfectly, catching all of these big moves. HIMS is just beautiful. Yesterday, another high when you're looking at the closing high. Forget about that 2011. What was the close on this day? The close is 1860. Sometimes when you see a chart like this, it's good to go to a line chart to see this. This is one of our picks of the week over at Wolf Financial Spaces on Tuesday night. And am I going to go through the whole thesis? Let me just do it for a second. I did it for Wolf Financial. We've been playing this like a fiddle, all right? Right here on this day, on May 3rd at the open, we took it out of our model portfolio. We said, sell, 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 all right? Right in the morning. And then we said, let's buy the dip at the end of the day today, or let's hope it even goes down further on Monday because earnings are coming up. Monday after the close, and it's going to be an awesome earnings report. All right, based on my analysis of the previous earnings report and the forward-looking commentary, and also the fact that this guy the CEO was willing to go online and be really edgy right before an earnings report, told me he has confidence in his earnings report, right? That he's able to go out there and cause controversy and, certain people or whatever because they're just firing on all cylinders. That was part of the reason I said, let's buy this earnings report. So we sold on that morning. We bought ahead of the earnings report. Was able to sell that pop in the earnings report, and then we were looking for an opportunity to reload. I'm not lying about this, by the way. I was all over this. If you've been a VIP member, you know the commentary I've been giving on HIMS the whole entire way. All right. So then after the earnings report, we're looking for an opportunity to reload. We saw it was holding the 20, and then we said, all right, let's go back in. It was this day right here, May 14th, pounding the table on May 14th to get back in, anticipating a break of the 50 DMA. Why was I anticipating that? Because on the earnings report, they were talking about GLP-1, a launch. They're going to be launching GLP-1 offerings soon within the next couple weeks. So said, we are going to break that 50 DMA on this excitement and anticipation of that coming. So piled into that again. Within a few days, there's a GLP-1 announcement. We sold on that, man. I played this like a fiddle, and I actually executed this well. A lot of times, the recommendations I give on this show, I don't execute on. First of all, it's very hard. I'm talking to you guys here. I can't set up my trades. All right. Very hard to do it. Sometimes the show runs right until 9:29, and then I'm like scrambling, trying to place a trade at 9:30. It's very difficult to execute while I do this show. But in any case, this one we got completely right. I was able to execute. Why did we sell on May 20th? We sold because a lot of people knew the GLP-1 was coming because they told us on the conference call. So I knew there would be a sell the news. All right. So we sold it on the news there. And I'm like, all right, now let's wait to reload again. All right. I was saying potentially we could get a gap fill here at a 1450. Potentially we can hit the 50 DMA. But guess what? We came back in on May 23rd. All right. This is not a joke. We have this all on record. Why did we push this on May 23rd again? Because that evening, May 24th. Okay. Because of the night of May 23rd, it was May 24th at the open is when we got back in. Because on the night of May 23rd, there was a form for filing. A director of the company bought several $1 million of stock insider buy. And I'm like, okay, great. We're not going to that gap fill. It's time to get back in. All right. And I've been ever since. We also noted the RSI, how it pulled back and was not yet at the overbought level it was here. So look at that. The RSI is 70 here. Over here, the RSI was like 81. We're not there yet, but look at where the stock is. Again, look at the closing prices. This is a cheat code. If you've been watching my show closely, one of the most powerful technical signals I like, which is very, very reliable and also very under the radar, is look at the closing prices. You can't see that. Everyone's used to doing these candles. It's very hard to see these closing prices sometimes. On this one, it's obvious. But sometimes, look at this, like yesterday, 2 days ago, I'm sorry. You see this close 2 days ago? I mean, it's almost, in my experience, I don't want to put a number on it, but it's very high, close to 100% of the time. When you have a new closing high, at least proximal, whatever time frame you're looking at, this is also a long time frame. Okay, is that an all-time now? Okay, but it's going back a long time. So you have a new closing high. Everyone's, we didn't break 2011 yet. We didn't break 2011. Guess what? When you break the high of this day, the close of this day was 1860. When your close was above 1860, see that 1915, greater than the 1860, guess what? I can now predict we're going to break 2011. All right. That happens very, very often. So now you can see the stock. And by the way, look at that bullish cross on the 2050 DMA. So things are setting up really nicely for HIMS right now. And on top of that, you got this macro tailwind this morning on TLT and IWM. So I got to put HIMS up here in terms of what can do well today. So now we have Palantir, Tesla, and HIMS. And I got to throw Hood up there. I mean, there's been so many catalysts on Hood. Fundamental inflection point in terms of earnings, multiple analyst upgrades. And look, here's another example. What we just went through. And then they just did this $1 billion buyback. Okay. There it is. You see it? We didn't break above 21. There it is. Now this morning we have. All right. That easily predicted. Do I have call options on Hood? Did I get back in? Let me just see. I think I did yesterday. Did I? Please tell me I got back in Hood call options. All right. Let's see. Opening up my account here. And come on. Am I back in? No, tell me I'm. Oh, I didn't get back in. Are you serious? All right. I didn't get back in, but I'm in the common shares in our model portfolio. So I got actually a nice big fat position of common shares in Hood. But this is something today which can outperform. Maybe perhaps I'm going to try to day trade some call options on that. So 1, 2. So these are the stocks for the day that I think could outperform. And we'll go down and see if there's any more. But Palantir, Tesla, HIMS, and Hood. All right. I'm just having DJT up here. I'm not going to officially recommend. I just don't like the fundamentals on this one. But Trump's in the news. Anytime there's anything either really bad or really good for Trump, doesn't matter. Market likes to take DJT up. He might get convicted today. I don't know what's going on. But DJT on your radar. I'm not going to be trading that. Just pointing that out for you guys if you like the technicals. AI up 10% on earnings. Staying away. I played a little bit of this going into the earnings report. Sold it in after hours. Not interested here. I just don't think the fundamentals are enough to break this 27-14 200 DMA. That's how we do it story trading, right? We take the multiple pillars, we call it, fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and then we triangulate that with technicals. So I just don't think the fundamentals were good enough to turn around the sentiment to cause the technical level 200 DMA to break. All right, I could easily be wrong, but that's the judgment call we're making on this one. Our judgment calls on the earnings reports yesterday were incredible on Chewy, ANF, Dix, and that news on ASTS. So I'm going to stick with this judgment call on AI and not going to play it. Obviously, I could easily be wrong and think it'd be up 30% on the short squeeze. It's highly shorted, but that's that. Okay, so I think that's going to be, we're going to lock in these stocks that I'm going to say are good for day trading today. Palantir, Tesla, HIMS, and Hood. All right. Not necessarily in that order, to be honest with you. I'm probably would put HIMS and Hood up there ahead of Tesla. I just don't like trading Tesla. It's very volatile. I also think the fundamentals are very expensive. So let's just do that. All right. Palantir, HIMS, and Hood. Palantir, HIMS, Hood, and Tesla. And probably HIMS and Hood ahead of Palantir too, especially HIMS. HIMS might be the number one. You saw the excitement and emotions I had going through that. HIMS, I do have call options on, don't I? Let me see. Yeah, not a lot, but I got some. I've been accumulating some DraftKings call options, but it just doesn't look ready yet, and maybe I'll be wrong on it. This is after DraftKings went below the 200 DMA. On that tax news that happened, I think it was Illinois, the higher taxes. I thought it wasn't going to break the 200 DMA, and when it did here, I'm cheating a little bit, and I'm thinking this is a false breakdown of that 200 DMA, and we'll pop right back above it. The thesis being that tax news is not, bad enough to break the long-term thesis on this. That's the thesis here, along with that very low RSI, but this hasn't worked out yet. A little bit of a sleeper play down there at the bottom of the list. Not going to be a top pick, but I could easily be wrong, accumulating a couple call options there on DraftKings. All right. Anyway, that's the show for you today. Let's just review this one more time. See, no changes to the model portfolio today. Let's see if we can outperform the SPY for the fourth day in a row. And right before I let you go, also, we can look at our portfolio stocks over here in our watch list and see what is starting the day off good on pre-market. We got Novo Nordisk, our GLP-1 play. Oh man, I wish I had DELL in our AI bucket. Oh well, I don't see anything crazy here. Hood, a little bit that we just talked about. Okay, let's see if we could do this a fourth day in a row. All right, and with that, I ask you guys to download our free app. You can go to storytrading.com/app, storytrading.com/app, and you can see this show every morning at 9 a.m. You can grab a free trial there as well. And I'm going to let you go with a little explainer about what story trading is. Good luck today, guys.
It's not easy to understand why stocks go up and down, but even in volatile markets, there's always a discoverable and logical reason behind price action. Story trading is a social investing community of investors who share information to uncover the hidden stories behind the trade through the 4 pillars of fundamentals, catalyst, sentiment, and technicals. All price action can be understood through the lens of these pillars, allowing for a holistic view that empowers better decision-making. Only by understanding markets can you beat them. Join our community today and start making sense of markets.